Day 43, let's get it. Back at the office. I had some meetings like in town, like not at my house, but like the main business area here. So decided to go to the office. Been a little bit back and forth with office, sometimes home, sometimes at the office. So it's a little bit interesting to see what I'm gonna do in the future, where to sit. But yeah, this like week, let's say, is more looking back at the goals. I said it's kind of interesting because I was scrolling my own Google Drive and I saw the document, which I was like, I need to look at this more often. So now, like, I'm gonna have this more often as a feedback or a checking this document. I'll make it very obvious where it is, and it's all the goals I set at the beginning. Now, not the beginning March. I've written a few papers manually. They're in my office that I see every day. I really, that's like, I'm lying. Just, I don't want to be saying more than it is. But I look at them sometimes. And then this document was like more like an online thing where like I can look at it on my phone everywhere I am because I'm on a PC or a phone all the time. So I need something in my face there as well. So I wrote them down here. As you can see, March 21, 2024, 5-year business goals. Because a lot of the goals I've set so far was like, okay, this year. To be honest, I really believe in the goal setting, but for some reason not none of them have happened, but I do realize like, okay, setting a goal is not enough. And one thing that's very like a lot of people say is like, okay, you can set goals. Let's say I want to get to 10k a month, but what does that actually mean? So you have to break it down in more digestible things. So 10k a month means, let's say, 10 clients at 1k a month. How much work do I have to do for one client? Okay, I need to talk to 100 people. How do I get to even to talk to 100 people? I need to send 10,000 emails, just as an example. And then, okay, 10,000 emails a month because I want to get one client extra a month. How am I going to send those 10,000? Okay, that's, let's say, I don't know how to do the calculation, but 10,000 divided by 30, let's say, for every day of the month. And then, okay, every, I'm just going to quickly calculate it, is 300 emails. So if you have to send 300 emails a day, let's say, how you do it, whatever, it doesn't matter. But it's more like, okay, then every day I know I need to send 300 emails, which will get me to my goal. To be honest, I haven't been the best at it. I just set the goals 5 years a little bit bigger. So it's like, use a little bit more bigger goals. But I wanted to kind of go over them for myself as well. As I want to venture more into ecom, I wrote down ecom brand that doing 50k profit a month. My whole philosophy with the e-commerce is that you can always reinvest it very heavily, and you have to. Of course, the ideal thing would be living from it, but it's easier to scale, I would say, with the e-com brand if you just reinvest money because you can buy stock, you can put everything back, and that's kind of what I see is interesting. I wrote a few at that point, few interesting things down that I was thinking about the time. Agape was one of them, and that's where I've been focusing now. As I've written step 2, I wanted to keep working on it. I mean, at that point, I was like more like ordering stock and checking out things. I wasn't really active with it, but then I at least wrote it down. I wanted to travel a little bit with that and go to, let's say, events where I can actually show this clothing. So that's also the goal. And remember, this is a 5-year goal. Transfer marketing agency to mostly ecom. Work with clients I actually would like work with. Keep up to date with the latest software industry. This is something I'm already doing right now a lot. Like I'm just taking on a lot more ecom clients. Doesn't mean I'm dropping my other clients, but that kind of happens naturally. Of course, some people have other things going on. They want to stop for a few months. So it's like it slowly happens anyway. So I feel on this one, I'm actually on the right track. Invest in network and growth, spend more time in ANF, that's my local business network, and travel to Oslo from time to time. Actually, this morning I had a meeting with one who I met in my local business network. They sometimes do have like these breakfasts where new people who enter the network can propose, like introduce themselves. And today, that one thing was like a month ago, and he didn't even have a website, the guy. So I just called him like yesterday and say, hey, can we just meet? So that's something I definitely see the value in. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. This is very interesting. I want a setup in my business and in my life where I can travel just more consistently. The whole reason in the beginning why I started this is be more free, um, and have more like time freedom, one, but also more like physical freedom because everything is online, so I can actually travel anywhere I want and do the same work. And that's one of the reasons I started this. Um, and a good reason that I wrote down is, for example, having real estate in Lombok, which is like the island next to Indonesia, as just an example, because then you have a place to go and then, for example, rent it out for the rest of the year. But at least once a month, you can actually, for a full month, go there and be there for a little bit. Um, One interesting thing as well, having real estate in Verdal, this is my local town. Um, it's possible to, of course, set up the business that you can actually have, for example, buy your office or buy something similar to that, or you can also just go private. So it's a little bit of both. Um, this is more like an interesting one, having a Tesla or another electric vehicle. In Norway, everyone drives a Tesla. It's not even special, but it's still like an. I've never been like a car person, but I just uh, would just want to have a good car. In this country, if people don't live in Norway, Tesla is not even a flex. Like it's as usual, maybe even more usual than a BMW. So it's not even like yeah, I calculated. I have right now a BMW on diesel. If I would lease a Tesla, I almost spend the same because you right away cut away costs for diesel, and the Tesla's just so cheap because supply and demand is crazy that yeah, secondhand Teslas sell for crazy cheap. Um, and then one is like a hard thing that I am not really liking myself because I think it's so interesting to have real processes in the business and automate things. The problem, of course, I'm alone, and there's only so much you can automate when you're alone. It's more, I would say, when you have like a few I'm talking Norwegian now, if you employ people that you have like different processes that they need to follow, that's interesting. Of course, I need to follow more processes myself and put them in place. But yeah, I've now seen it's like hard to automate things because a lot of things just need my like literally my personal touch, like writing emails I automated, but then of course there's always some tweaks that I need to talk about to people. But I'm getting better at it. My girl's helping me with the sales follow up, like following a CRM. So she's swiping people in the CRM to the good places they need, and that already I feel like okay, this is a step ahead. Like not ahead, but like we're getting a little bit further because she's being very good at following it. A lot of people booking meetings when I didn't have a meeting booked. I swipe them myself in the last step because it's only I know when I book with who. So like the small things getting better, and that's the whole thing I really think is interesting. The 1% better every day, just staying consistent, just getting a little bit better. And in a year, that's 365%. So that's amazing. I realize sometimes that you actually, as is with everything, you just have to spend time and sitting down for it. So that's what I always said. Okay, let's say on Friday, I would spend 2 hours just reviewing the week and seeing what happened, and then improving on that. Like I said, I don't really feel like there's so much right now in my business I can automate. So this a little bit more in the next step if like a lot more clients and I need to have stuff more streamlined. But yeah, I think it's still interesting. A little bit back on the updates, just to quickly go over them. The growth operator business is quite interesting because we've like another guy came in who's helping us a lot with appointment setting. That's one thing we struggled with a lot. We had some Filipino people, some Indonesian people doing DM setting, but their English just wasn't good enough and their thinking wasn't good enough. Of course, it's cheaper, but now we have like a European dude who has European people under him who can appointment set. So that you see right away that the logic and the thinking is just a little bit more to what we need. And we implemented him in two of our clients. Because from a few of the clients, we generated a lot of leads for different webinar funnels, masterclass funnels. But yeah, of course, as always, not everyone converts. And his strength, I would say, is trying to reach out to these people who didn't convert from literally step one to the last step and trying to get more, I wouldn't say low hanging fruit, but like just making sure nothing slips away in the whole funnel. And like you paid for those leads, you did effort. So why not try to make the most of them? And calling them has been very good because, yeah, for one client, we have like 100 leads and the appointment has been calling for 2 days and already set 4 calls. So it's like everything we would want. Also, to have the systems for other clients is going to be very interesting. The agency going pretty well, more and more clients. Not every client, I would say, is as interesting as the other one. But I do realize, okay, the more I talk to people, the more at least opportunities open. again, some clients are like not maybe worth the effort always, but if you think long term, because a lot of the clients that I talk to now from the cold email outreach are a little bit more beginning phase. So it's like they always think about budget and they can't afford everything. If they can afford my service fee, they can't afford a decent ad budget, and so back and forth. But then sometimes I'm a little bit more flexible in the beginning now, because I also see, okay, if we start maybe with ads, we can add on later. And I tell them that honestly, like I see the value in long-term relationships, and that's how I want to build it up. On the same hand, as I was talking earlier with network, it's insane how much that matters. People keep saying it, and it's for a reason. Me living in a small town is like quite hard sometimes. I realize with networking. That's also why I'm going to these breakfast meetings and just people where they introduce, so I can just see what's going on in the market for me. Sometimes I'm a little bit like, oh, I wish I was a little bit more in the Netherlands or in Belgium where I can actually meet those type of companies and be a little bit more, because the networks are just very different, because it's just so much bigger and much more, yeah, national, international. Here it's quite local, and a lot of the business is industrial, so it's like they don't need my kind of services. But it's kind of interesting because I just had a meeting and he's already interested in a website client, this one. But we were both agreeing like, yeah, I'm just meeting you just to build network, And then he said he does consultancy for businesses, so he said himself, yeah, now that I literally just only talk to you for an hour, when in the future people would need a reference or for like they need a website or a digital marketing, I know who to refer to. So just that, having a quick meeting, him knowing who I am, is it was kind of worth it already. So that's good. Lastly, e-commerce Agape. One thing I've struggled with myself is posting content. I'm just not like a content creator, I would say. Of course, digital marketing is so big that there's so many things you can do, but content creation has never been my forte. So I'm really thinking about how to do this. One thing is thinking about setting up TikTok Shop, where then I can have people creating content for me and making like work, setting up an affiliate system. I've seen it's been going crazy in e-commerce. Of course, you need to have quite good fulfillment with that to USA. So when people buy, you need to be shipping fast. You can't be like slow with it, otherwise you get quite heavily banned or like you get punished. So that's kind of interesting. On the same hand, there's a few people locally that I know, a few, there's only one, who I know locally who literally now is studying photography. So I talked to her, can we set up a session? Because she's very good at what she does, and I would think it's interesting. Secondly, I also have a guy in my network who literally has a creative agency, and I've helped him out a few times with some, just helping him out. And I asked him what he would charge, and he was like very open to just, let's say, only paying for the models and just doing the rest for free. So that's quite interesting to me that I have a few avenues I can try, because my product pictures are quite amateuristic, literally because my wife did them. So, and she's amateur, so naturally they become amateuristic, which is fine for now, because I like, on the one hand, I just want to start. On the other part, I'm like, okay, it needs to be looking a little bit decent, and right now that's what it does. It just looks okay. It doesn't look amazing. It just looks okay to start. But then as you go and as you build the brand, it just needs to be better and better, and that's kind of where I'm at right now, just improving it. Because I do believe in just starting, and because even though I say that, it took like quite a while for me too, because of course supplier I need to be fixed. So that was one thing. But yeah, that being said, I think that's all for now, and see you next week. Peace.